Welcome to LUTV Sports' InFocus, where we feature interesting topics on campus, in the community, and in the world of sports. Recently, I had the opportunity to speak with Lamar graduate John Duff. Since leaving Cardinal Country, Duff has worked his way from part-time camera operator to ESPN director in Bristol, Connecticut, to assisting in the launch of ESPN's Longhorn Network, where he is now the director of Texas Game Day during football season. Aside from his career achievements, Duff has also won 3 Emmys for his work in the industry. Thank you, John, for being here with us today. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to do this with us.
Oh, you're welcome. It's my pleasure. Anything I can do for LUTV.
Yes, and speaking of LUTV, before we go any further, I have to ask, how was your experience with LUTV when you went to Lamar?
It was great. All the teachers that I had were just really, really great. The main thing that swayed me toward Lamar, I checked out Stephen F. Austin. I checked out Sam Houston State because they're all pretty much equidistant from where I grew up. So I chose Lamar because I could get more hands-on experience at Lamar than I could at the other places. I'm not sure about right now, but in '94, when I started at Lamar, they would let freshmen do pretty much anything. And the other schools, Stephen F. Austin, Sam Houston, other local universities to me, wouldn't let you even get in a TV class until your sophomore year. So when I started at Lamar, I was immediately in the LUTV studios. I was immediately learning about cameras, about editing, about directing, just immediately. And that was the main thing that swayed me to go there, is I can start learning now instead of doing all the core classes first and then being able to start. So Lamar was really, really great for me.
Yeah, for sure. And they still have, you can't technically take the LUTV class until there's obviously some prereqs, but that is one thing I've said is they have a great volunteer program to get you in there and to get that hands-on experience. And I agree, it's pretty great. And speaking of being equal distance from places, you graduated from Big Sandy High School, which is not quite as big as the name sounds. 29 people in your class. What was the transition like to Lamar?
It was definitely an adjustment period for me, going from a very small school, knowing everybody, being related to half of the people that were in my class, to starting at Lamar and knowing absolutely no one. But communication classes that I took, I immediately started making really good friends, lifelong friends that I'm still friends with to this day. So it was a little adjustment period, but people at Lamar were so friendly and gracious that I fit in pretty much immediately.
And well, you obviously like the city because after going to Lamar, you actually got a job in Beaumont at one of the local news stations. What was your time there like? What experience did you get there that helped translate into your next career with ESPN in Bristol, Connecticut?
I started out at KBMT Channel 12 in February of '97 before I graduated in May of '97 from Lamar. I started out as a part-time camera operator on the morning show. When I graduated from college, I got moved up to full-time. So I did everything, every position in production that you could think of. I edited, I ran tapes. Yes, we still had tapes.
Oh man.
I ran tapes, I ran master control, I ran camera, I ran audio, and I just worked my way up from morning show part-time camera operator to being a director at Channel 12 within 2.5 years. I started out directing the morning show with Tracy Kennick, who's still a very good friend of mine. And I moved up from there to the 5 o'clock, and then I moved up to the 6 and 10, and eventually became the lead director at Channel 12 before I was hired at ESPN in December of 2001, started in January of 2002. The main thing that I think that I learned from my time at KBMT is that you cannot in any way, shape, or form try to immediately jump into your specialty. You have to be able to know and realize that you have to earn it. You can't just, it's not just something that's just going to happen overnight. You have to work hard. You have to dedicate yourself and learn and be a jack of all trades. Like I said, I did pretty much anything. I directed, was the thing that I wanted to do, but I also learned how to produce. I learned everything about audio. I learned everything about the switcher. At the time, the switcher that we had was a little cantankerous, so I had to learn how to fix it in the middle of a show to get through the show if there was no engineer immediately available to fix it. I fixed it once with a paperclip. So it's just teaching yourself the things that you need to know about one thing and not trying to skip any steps. So that really helped me by the time I got to ESPN, because when I got there, that was another big shock to the system, going from a local TV station to the biggest sports network in the world.
The big gun, for sure. Yeah. And then while you were in Connecticut, you obviously, got some great experiences working with MLB, NBA. You got to cover the World Cup. All that experience was great. And, learning all those things that you learned at a local news station had to have, helped you, especially when in 2011 you helped start the Longhorn Network. I'm sure all that stuff really paid off in that transition.
It definitely did, because I went from ESPN in Connecticut, where every person had a specific task that they had to do. I was an associate director. I was director. But when I got to Longhorn Network, there were 100 other things that I had to know. I had to be able to. We started with a completely new staff at Longhorn Network. They had obviously had TV experience, but they didn't have the kind of TV experience that the technicians that I worked with in Connecticut. So the other directors and I had to basically train a new staff into how to do things the ESPN way.
Yeah.
With a specific way that they want things done. They want audio levels here. They want if you're editing something, they want the music to be at a certain level with a voice at a certain level. And even though I wasn't an editor, I had to know that to be able to help the editors along, so that everything that we did at Longhorn Network was the same standard that was going on at ESPN. So the learning of trying to find out exactly what everybody did was difficult before I transitioned to Longhorn Network, but ESPN knew that was going to be something that we had to do. We were going to have to help the new staff at Longhorn Network. So they gave us time to sit in with the audio operators, to sit in with the editors, to sit in with the people that worked in the media rooms. So they didn't expect us to be as good as those people that had the special training, but they at least needed us to know how to have a working knowledge of pretty much everything that goes into a TV production. And my experience at the local level definitely prepared me for that, because I knew that if you can't tell somebody how to do their job unless you yourself know how to do it.
Yeah.
So I just worked hard to learn as much as I could before moving to Austin in August of 2011 and launching Longhorn Network in September. So everything that I'd done both at KBMT and at ESPN more than prepared me to be able to launch a new network.
Well, we are more than excited that you have been so successful in your career. You've done big things, especially, me going to Lamar, this is my last semester. So it's really cool to be able to look up to people like you in the field that I'm going for and see so much success. So I really appreciate you speaking with me today. Thank you so much. And please stay safe during all this coronavirus mess.
I definitely will. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you for tuning into LUTV Sports' InFocus, where we keep you in the game for every game. To see more content from LUTV Sports, be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.